Charles Pol is the beloved son of Dr. Pol, the world-famous veterinarian known for his kind heart and tireless work helping animals. On the show The Incredible Dr. Pol, which airs on Nat Geo Wild, fans see a happy and hardworking family helping animals in need. As a child, Charles was part of a family where animals were at the center of everything. He learned early on that the work was demanding but also rewarding. The Pol family was very close-knit, and their lives were often intertwined with the needs of the animals Dr. Pol cared for. Charles is often seen by his father's side, smiling, making jokes, and helping out. But what many people don't know is that behind that smile, Charles has gone through something deeply painful. What exactly happened to Charles and the Pol family? To truly understand the tragedy that changed Charles forever, we need to go back in time. Let's look at the early years, the years that helped shape who Charles would become. Charles Pol was born on March 6, 1979, in central Michigan, United States. From the very beginning, Charles's life was special. He was adopted at birth by two kind and loving people, Dr. Pol and his wife, Dr Pol. They were not just any parents. Dr. Pol was a hardworking veterinarian, and Dr. Pol was a caring and supportive mother. Charles also grew up with two sisters. One was Kathy, who was also adopted like him, and the other was Diane Jr., his stepsister. All three of them were raised like a close family on a big farm in Michigan. Life on the farm was never boring. There were animals everywhere: cows, horses, pigs, dogs, and cats. Charles and his siblings would often help feed the animals and clean the barns. But Charles did more than that. As a little boy, he loved spending time with his dad. He would go with him on visits to other farms to help sick animals. He would watch his dad treat cows and horses, and he learned a lot just by watching. Sometimes he even helped carry tools or hold animals gently while his dad worked. This gave Charles a lot of experience with animals at a very young age. Charles went to school in Michigan, just like most kids. He finished elementary school and high school there. After high school, he wanted to try something different. So, he moved to Florida to attend the University of Miami. This was a big change for him, but he liked it. He studied communications and graduated in 2003. Even though Charles loved animals and had spent most of his childhood helping his dad, he didn't want to become a veterinarian. He admired his father's work, but Charles had a different dream. Ever since he was young, he had been fascinated by the world of television. He liked the way stories were told on screen, how cameras worked, and how shows were made. While his dad enjoyed treating animals, Charles imagined himself behind a camera, making exciting and fun TV shows that people all over the world could watch. And that's what led to his successful television career. After he finished school in 2003, Charles decided to chase his dream. He packed his bags and moved far away from his small hometown to the big, busy city of Los Angeles, California. Charles knew it wouldn't be easy, but he was ready to work hard. At first, he took small jobs as an intern. Though he didn't make much money, he gained something more important: experience. He worked at big companies where famous people made movies and TV shows. One of the companies was Mirage Enterprises, started by a famous director named Sidney Pollack. This was a big deal because Charles got to see how real movies were made. Then, Charles continued growing in his career. He worked for Booyah Studios as a creative director. Later, he became the director of operations for Nickelodeon's live-action division. He even helped create and produce a special 2-episode pilot. Charles was finally doing what he had always dreamed of, working in television. While Charles was living and working in the exciting world of Hollywood, something surprising began to happen deep inside him. Every day, he worked with famous actors, big TV producers, and exciting shows. At first, it all felt like a dream come true. Lights, cameras, action, he was right in the middle of it all. But even with all the bright lights and big names, something kept pulling at his heart. That something was home. Charles began to think more and more about his dad. To Charles, His dad was more interesting than any actor he had ever met. He remembered watching his father work with animals, big ones, small ones, calm ones, wild ones. He remembered the smell of hay, the sound of barking dogs, and the way people smiled when his dad helped them. Charles also remembered something important. People loved and respected his dad. They trusted him. They brought their pets and farm animals to him because they knew he cared. He wasn't acting. He wasn't pretending. Dr. Pol was the real deal. He was honest, kind, funny, and full of energy, even when he was elbow-deep in mud or treating a sick cow in the middle of a snowstorm. Charles started to wonder, what if other people could see this too? What if the whole world could meet my dad and see what he does every day? That idea began to grow bigger and stronger in his mind. He couldn't shake it. It was like a little spark that turned into a flame. So, in 2011, Charles made a big decision. He packed up and returned home. But he wasn't just coming back to visit. He was coming back with a mission. He wanted to make a TV show, but not just any show. This one would be about his dad. It would be about the real life of a vet who didn't wear fancy clothes or live in a mansion, but who worked hard, got dirty, and helped animals and people every single day. Charles didn't just want to film his dad giving shots or checking up on animals. He wanted to tell real stories. He wanted people to laugh, cry, cheer, and learn. He wanted the world to feel like they were right there in the clinic, smelling the hay, hearing the animals, and watching Dr. Pol rush out the door to save a life. With passion and hard work, Charles co-created a show called The Incredible Dr. Pol. He became the executive producer, which means he helped lead the team and shape the vision of the show. The show became a huge hit. Families watched it together. Kids dreamed of becoming vets. And all across the world, people got to know the incredible Dr. Pol, just like Charles had always known him. At first, Charles probably didn't know how big the show would become. He may have thought it would last a little while. But to his surprise, it lasted a long time, over 12 years. That's more than a whole decade. Even more amazing, the show went on for over 24 seasons. That's a lot of episodes. It became one of the favorite shows on the National Geographic Channel. But the show wasn't just about Dr. Pol. Charles also played a big part too. Behind the scenes, he helped make sure the stories were told clearly and in a fun way. He also appeared on the screen from time to time. Viewers got to know him as more than just Dr. Pol's son. He became a friendly face on the show, someone fans looked forward to seeing. Between 2014 and 2016, Charles worked on another show too. It was called Calling Dr. Pol. For this show, he served as a co-executive producer. This show was like a little brother to the main show. It gave fans even more chances to see their favorite vet in action. Many people know him for his work, and he has earned a lot of respect and success in his career. But while his career is impressive, the most touching and heartwarming part of his life is not his job, it's his personal life. It's the story of love, friendship, and family. Charles is married to his longtime friend, Beth Oakes. They met when they were just 3 years old. From that young age, they became good friends. Imagine two little kids running around, playing together and building memories that would last a lifetime. That's how their story began. But life, as it often does, took them in different directions. As they grew up, Charles and Beth went their separate ways. Beth had a deep love for adventure and new experiences. She traveled all across the United States and even visited other countries. She lived in different places and saw many things. Her life became full of color, culture, and change. After some time, Beth felt the pull of home. She missed her roots and her family, so she decided to return to Michigan, where she had grown up. It was there, back in the place where everything had started, that she and Charles met again. It was like something out of a movie, the two old friends who had gone through so much apart, finding each other again in the place where it all began. Not long after they reconnected, their friendship turned into something deeper. They realized that what they had was something very rare and special. In early 2018, Charles asked Beth to marry him, and she said yes. Just a few months later, on June 20th, 2018, they got married. It was a day filled with love, laughter, and the joy of knowing that they had found their way back to each other after all those years. Their love continued to grow, and soon they became parents. Their first child, a beautiful baby girl named Abigail, was born on October 19, 2019. Becoming parents brought even more happiness into their lives. Then, their family grew once more. On July 12, 2021, they welcomed a baby boy named Silas into the world. With 2 children in their arms and hearts full of love, Charles and Beth's journey became even more joyful. Charles and his family reside in Michigan, USA. Despite their public personas, the family enjoys a relatively private life, focusing on their roles as parents and maintaining their family values. But not everything in their lives has been easy. In the middle of all the joy of raising their young children and being part of a successful show, Charles experienced a devastating tragedy that deeply shook the Pol family. In September 2019, something very sad happened in the Pol family. Charles's nephew, Adam Butch, passed away. He was only 23 years old. Adam was the son of Kathleen, who is Dr. Pol's daughter. He was a special part of the family, and everyone loved him very much. Adam's death came as a big shock to the family. It was very sudden, and he was so young. Losing someone at just 23 years old is always heartbreaking, but it was even more painful because Adam was such a kind and caring person. His loss left a hole in the hearts of everyone who knew him. The loss of Adam hurt the Pol family deeply. It was a very hard time for them. Dr. Pol, who is known for being strong and calm on his show, was heartbroken. Losing a grandson is something no grandparent is ever ready for. For Kathleen, losing her son was more painful than words can describe. And Charles, who grew up close to Adam, felt like he had lost more than a nephew. He had lost a friend, someone he cared for dearly. Even though the family did not talk a lot about their pain in public, you could see it. People who watched the incredible Dr. Pol or followed them on social media could feel the sadness the family was going through. To honor Adam, the show aired a special tribute. In that episode, they gently let viewers know about Adam's passing. It wasn't full of words, it was soft and respectful. It was a quiet way of sharing their loss while still keeping their pain private. The tribute let fans show their support, and many people sent kind messages and shared loving memories. Charles, in particular, was deeply affected. Adam's death reminded him of how short and fragile life can be. He didn't let the sadness stop him, though. Instead, he used that pain to push forward. He focused more on his work. He put more heart into what he did. Whether it was helping animals, supporting his family, or creating stories for the show, he gave it his all. Fans around the world noticed this change in Charles. Many were inspired by how he stayed strong and kept moving forward. His strength gave others hope, especially those who had lost someone too. Charles's quiet courage showed that even in the darkest times, we can keep going. While Charles Pol enjoys the perks of being part of a famous family. But fame isn't always easy, and Charles has learned that being in the spotlight comes with its own set of problems. When someone is famous, it means that a lot of people are watching them all the time. Every move they make can be judged, talked about, or even criticized. For Charles, this has not always been a pleasant experience. He has had to deal with people saying negative things about him and his work. Sometimes, it's about how things are done on the show. Other times, it's more personal. No matter the reason, being judged by people you don't even know can be tough. But it's not just Charles who has faced hard times. The show itself has received criticism from different viewers and groups. While many fans enjoy watching the animals being cared for and love Dr. Pol's old-school style, not everyone agrees with the way things are done on the show. Some animal rights organizations and even some veterinarians have spoken out against certain parts of the show. They believe that some of the methods shown may not meet modern veterinary standards. One of the biggest moments of controversy came in 2012. That year, Dr. Pol and some of the other veterinarians who worked with him got into serious trouble. A review board said they had not followed proper veterinary practices in a few cases. Because of this, they were found to be negligent. That means they didn't take as much care as they should have. As a result, they were fined and put on probation. But that was not the end of the story. In 2015, just 3 years later, something else happened. There was a different case involving Dr. Pol, and once again, the state medical board said he was careless. They said that he did not give the right kind of care to an animal. Again, they said he had not followed the basic standards that every veterinarian should follow. This added more fuel to what people started calling the Dr. Pol controversy. At this point, many people were talking about Dr. Pol. Some people strongly supported him. They said he was a good vet with many years of experience and a kind heart. They believed he helped animals, especially in rural areas where not many vets are around. They felt he was being judged unfairly because he didn't always use the most modern tools or methods. Instead, he used old-school ways that worked for him and his patients. He often did his job quickly and without a lot of high-tech machines, but his fans said he got the job done. But other people disagreed. They were very upset. They believed that every animal deserved the best care possible, and that includes using modern tools and following up-to-date procedures. They said that Dr. Pol's way of working might be too risky, even if it looked like it worked. They didn't want other vets to think it was okay to skip steps just because someone like Dr. Pol was on TV. Even though the medical board said he was wrong in 2015, something surprising happened later. A higher court looked at the case again. This court decided that the board had made a mistake. The court said Dr. Pol's actions did not break the rules badly enough to deserve punishment. They threw out the second decision, which made his supporters happy. Still, the drama did not go away. To this day, people are still talking about Dr. Pol. Some call him a hero of old-fashioned animal care. Others say he's a danger to animals because he doesn't always follow modern rules. The controversy has not ended, and it keeps coming up again and again, especially because Dr. Pol is a TV star. People have strong opinions, and the debate about whether Dr. Pol is a caring country vet or someone who cuts corners continues to this day. The legacy of Dr. Pol is not just about a TV show. It's about teaching people how to care for animals, how to work hard, and how to help others. Dr. Pol has saved thousands of animals and helped many farmers. He has inspired young people to become vets. He has shown that you don't have to be rich or fancy to make a big difference. And Charles has shown that believing in your family, using your talents, and working hard can help tell amazing stories to the world. Although Dr. Pol is older now, but he still works because he loves what he does. He says he will keep helping animals as long as he can. Charles continues to help run the show and the clinic. Together, they are training the next generation of vets and helpers. Their legacy will live on in the many people they have helped, in the animals they have saved, and in the hearts of the people who watch them every week. Although Charles and the Pol family have experienced a devastating tragedy and many controversies, they continue to live with love and kindness.